Now, whether it's euros, dollars, pesos, or even doing, or even dong.
It says dong.
Oh, it says dong.
It's Vietnamese currency.
Is that right?
I put that in the script. I thought you would enjoy that. Whatever you want to do with your dong in Vietnam is fine.
Look what it did.
Yeah, what you were doing with your dong. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Current exchange rates mean that you could be in for a very pricey holiday this summer.
Yes, you could be. With £1 buying you less than €1, some of the worst bureau de change. Martin Lewis is here to help you maximise every penny and get the best deals on your currency. So welcome to you. So where should we get? Should we be buying all our currency now? What should we be doing?
This is what question. What's going to happen to the pound? Is it going to get stronger or weaker? And I can tell you categorically, without any doubt, that I don't know. Nor does anyone. And anyone who tells you they do is a liar.
lying.
So you can't second-guess what's going to happen in the markets. What you have to do is look at your own circumstances. Now, if you're worried it'll get worse, and, you know, we've seen big fluctuations. Currently, you get €1.14 at the very best rates to the pound. Pre-Brexit, it was about 140, so it's come down a lot. Holidays are going to be a lot more expensive wherever you're travelling in the world this summer than they were a couple of summers ago. So what I suggest you do if you're worried, you don't have to be worried, but if you are, you get half now at the best rates now, and then half you get the best rates when you're there. Hedge your bets. If you were absolutely petrified that you couldn't afford it if rates went any worse, then buy everything now. At least you've locked in, and close your eyes to if it gets better afterwards, because at least you've got the money you want. So what you really have to focus on is how do I get the best rates when I'm there, and how do I get the best rates now?
OK, fine.
So how do you get the best rates?
Well, OK, while you're there, and we've talked about this before, the method I tend to favour is to use a specialist overseas credit card. Now, most plastic, when you go abroad, you spend £100 of euros on it, it adds a non-sterling exchange rate fee, which means it costs you £103, and then there are often other charges on top. These specialist credit cards don't have a sterling exchange rate fee. So you get the same near-perfect exchange rates in every country that the bank does.
Right.
So if you spend £100 worth of euros at that day's rate, that day's spot rate, they call it the perfect rate, you pay £100, and you just use your plastic, you spend on everything. Of course, you must pay it off in full at the end of every month, or there'll be interest charges. Now, my top picks on that, the Halifax Clarity card, no exchange fee, and also has very low ATM fees. And currently, if you get it and you spend on it before the middle of September, it'll give you 20 quid cash back. There's a Barclays card that doesn't have any overseas currency fees. There's a Creation Everyday card. Any of these cards
So
paid
good
off
to keep
in full.
these cards, keep them with your passport, and just use them when you
I
travel.
have an overseas wallet that has various things in it, and I just take it away when I travel. Now, the problem with all of those is you'll have to be credit scored to get one.
Yeah.
Use an eligibility calculator to see which one you're most likely to get, because they're all much of a muchness, really. There are slight differences. But if you're more likely to get one than the other, go for that. If you can't do that, there's also a card called the Monzo card that's a prepaid card, so it doesn't credit score. So you can put cash on it, and then you can spend that, and that works. You get exactly the same near-perfect bank rates, and it's got no fees. Now, frankly, that's going to be a loss leader. It's not making money from that, because unlike credit cards, it won't get the purchasing fees back on it. So I don't know how long it's going to last. There's a waiting list to get that card. It's not that long, and you have to operate it via an app. But if you're worried about the credit score, Monzo is a good alternative for getting the very best rates every time you spend on it. Yeah, and just put one of those in your pocket.
OK, how do you lock in the best rates now?
I would use a prepaid card, and Monzo is one, but it works slightly differently to all the others. With other prepaid cards, when you put your money on it, generally, the day you put your money on it and you get your euros, you lock in on that day's rate. Now, you've got the Revolut, which is good for euros and dollars. You've got WeSwap, you've got FairFX, you've got Travelex. They would be my top four. These are really, really complicated. I'm not going to go into how the fees and exchange rates work. They'd be my top four, I'll just tell you that. So you put your money on those today, and then you get today's rate on them. You lock in, and then you can spend that at any time. Obviously, the other thing people want is cash. Now, cash, the worst thing to do, and lots of people do it, is change at the airport. Currently, your £1 will buy you about 90 euro cents at some airport exchange rates. If you've left it late, let's say you were going tomorrow and you're going, I need to do it at the airport, pre-order now for airport pickup. You can normally do it 4 or 5 hours in advance, and you get a much better rate. Just actually paying at the airport is worse.
Take advantage of the last-minute urgency of you having to have the cash.
They've got you as a captive customer, and they will absolutely repay. I mean, they have high rents to pay as well, but it's really expensive. Best thing to do, though, is use an online comparison site to find the cheapest travel money, factoring in all fees and the exchange rate. And there are big differences. On 1,000 Turkish lira now, 230 quid to 270 quid is the cost, depending on which bureau you go to. So that's 40 quid on you know, a small amount of money. Don't pay to pay when you're abroad. Get the very best rates. So that's sort of the summary. I would get yourself a specialist overseas card for every trip. You can lock in on a prepaid card if you don't want a credit score. And if you're going to do cash, make sure you do a comparison, do it early enough before you go to get the best rates.